And so it is, what's your name?
My name is what? My name now or before?
Both.
Okay, before it was Phyllis Esther Lee, and I married Raymond William Gaio, and so my name is Phyllis Lee Gaio.
Where did your parents come up with your name?
Well, my grandmother's middle name was Esther. My mother's first name was Esther. I don't know how far back that name goes. And what is really funny, and I didn't hear about this until later, but my name Phyllis was one of my dad's old girlfriends. He liked the name, which makes me laugh even today. I thought my mother was not too thrilled when she told me.
So did she know that when she named you that, or did she find it out after, do you think?
You know, I'm really not sure, but I have a sneaking suspicion it was probably before.
Oh.
It was just that it was a name that my dad really liked, so that's why.
Well, and I love that Esther is a family name. I always love
Yeah, it
family
was a
names.
family name. I don't know really how many others had that name also.
So where were you born? Where'd you grow up?
Pasadena, California. Does it matter when I was born?
You can tell me. I want to know everything about you,
Okay.
Phyllis.
I was born May 26, 1932.
So you are how old?
92.
92. You're my second 92-year-old today.
I know Vida and I are just like 6 months. She's 6 months older than I am.
Don't ever let her forget it.
Her birthday is in January or in December, and mine's, of course, in May.
So yeah, right at 6 months. So you were born in Pasadena. Is that where you grew up?
No, actually, I might as well say yes to a degree, because I spent a lot of time with my grandmother. But my folks, when I was going into second grade, I think, bought a home in Altadena, which they might as well be one.
Okay.
Because you drive from Pasadena right into Altadena. Was closer to the mountains, the San Gabriel Mountains. And it was a little bit more rural. We had a nice big backyard with all kinds of trees and stuff there that I really enjoyed. Plum tree and 2 apricot trees, and it was nice. It was a nice area. There were no street lights, there were no sidewalks, but it didn't matter. We grew up, that's where I grew up.
How many kids were in your family? Siblings?
I have a younger brother that is 5 years younger than I am.
Just the two of you?
Just the 2 of us, yep. And the first thing, I think there's always something that as a child that you remember. And the first thing I remember is, I don't remember getting in the car. I remember riding in the back seat of the car with my mom and dad. It was an old 37 Chevy. And, well, it wasn't old at that point. But I woke up alone on the back seat, and I vividly remember looking out, and I didn't know where I was. I mean, there was nothing that I could see. And pretty soon, I'm sure I must have set up a holler. Somebody came zipping out and got me, and there was my grandfather and grandmother. My grandfather was the manager, I guess you'd call it a manager, of a mine. And my dad, but this was during the Depression, because it hit California later than it did back east. So my dad was working in the mine, and he wanted to show my mom and I what he was doing. So my mother reluctantly, and I remember feeling a little nervous about it, not wanting to be inside because it looked like a big black hole.
Yeah.
So we went in, and my dad was standing at like a rock and dirt wall face, and he was drilling holes in it and sticking stuff in the holes. Well, I didn't know what was going on. My mother did, and she said, "We are leaving," and we did. But come to find out, what he was doing was sticking blasting material
I was gonna say dynamite.
inside the mine, because that's how they were getting the silver. It was a silver mine in Arizona. And I wish I remembered the town it was close to, but I know it if I hear it, but I don't remember it. But I know I couldn't have been more than 4. And I probably was 3. And just going into being 4. My brother is 5 years younger than I. So he wasn't there. So therefore, I had to be less than 5. But that's the first memory I have of being or going someplace that I didn't know where I was. And of course, the first thing I did was play in a mud puddle outside and stepped on a yellow jacket and got bit by a yellow jacket, which I know I set up a huge fuss over. That's my earliest memory.
That's a good memory, though. Like you said, you were younger than 5, and to be able to remember.
Because my brother wasn't there.
Yeah, I don't know that I can remember anything from that early.
You know, I think it was because it was so foreign that it was something that I had never done, never seen, never been around.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why. But I spent a lot of time with my grandmother in Pasadena. She lived about a half a block off Colorado Street, was where the parade goes by. And I remember every parade day, my grandfather would get up early and he'd go down, set up 2 ladders, put a couple of boards across them, and we'd go down a little later and get it. He did it early in the morning, and when we knew it was about time for the parade to start, we'd go down. It was always a lot of people at the corner, there, and up until we moved up here, I think I went just about every year. During the war, of course, we didn't, because there was nothing, they didn't do it then. But I grew up during the war years mostly, and so we weren't able to drive or go as many places. We had to save up ration stamps so that we could drive down to visit my other grandparents who lived in Elsinore.
How far is that from Pasadena?
Well, it seemed like it was a long way.
Right.
But there were no freeways then.
Oh, okay.
None. So we would go down, and we actually drove through a lot of grapevines, where they had, I don't remember the name now of the wine that was made there, but I do remember seeing miles and miles of grapevines as we went down. And it was always fun to go down and visit my grandparents. And one of my dad's sisters, one of my aunts, lived down there as well. And she had 5 boys, 4 of which were in service. And I know Milo, I'm sure he was thrilled that his little cousin was following him everywhere he went out at their ranch there. But I remember doing that. I'm sure he was thrilled. He was the only one that didn't go, and they said he had one leg slightly shorter than the other. However, I've always wondered it was after the 5 Sullivan brothers went down with their ship.
Mm-hmm.
And so they made a rule that they would not take every son or daughter or whatever
From a family.
put them into service.
So he might have been the one.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So it made sense. Yeah.
What was your brother's name? I don't think you said.
Oh, Bruce.
Bruce. Oh, I love the name
He was
Bruce.
Bruce Robert.
Oh.
Bruce Robert Lee. He still is, of course.
Is he still alive?
Yes, he lives in Oregon.
Oh, very
In a
nice.
retirement community there. He and his wife. I wouldn't mean to say too much, but she's his 4th wife. It happens. But they've been married a long time.
I was going to say, he had some starter wives. He just had to
Yes,
find
yes.
the right one.
Yes. Yeah.
Somebody said that recently. Instead of saying a first husband, they said they had a starter husband. And I like that. That's a...
Well, that was, that's a pretty good idea. He was really too young to get married, honestly. He was going to Mackey School of Mines because he'd kind of taken an interest in geology, and that's what he ended up as a geologist. So he's had a nice career too.
Very cool.
Yeah, he got to see the mine. They never got into it because it flooded later on, and while they were able to keep it dry when my dad was working it, when they abandoned it, that was the end of that.
They do, yeah. Usually nature takes back over.
Yep, so that's basically what we did. I met my husband-to-be when I was a senior in high school.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Elliott, well, it was junior high school. They had a strange system in Pasadena. At least it seems to me that it was kind of strange after talking to others. We went to grammar school for 6 years. Then then you went to junior high school, and it was the last 2 years of grammar school, first 2 years of high school, and then you went to junior college, which was the last 2 years of high school and the first 2 years of college. And they abandoned that idea. Oh gosh, it was when one of my youngest sister-in-law was going into her second year there. They made all the changes, and I still remember my Louise was one of my daughters-in-law, or my
sister-in-law.
Mm-hmm. And she came home, and I could almost see steam coming out of her ears. She was so upset. She said, "Last year, the bathrooms were men and women. I went in, this was the first day of school, I went in, and now they're boys and girls." So she was a little distressed that she didn't like that very much. But Ray, I'd known him for about a year or so when he was drafted and went to Korea. And I met he had a wonderful family. He was originally from Pennsylvania. His family moved to California because his mother's health was not real good. And he had an older sister and a younger sister and another brother and a brother that was younger. So there were 4 in the family. But my father-in-law was born in Spain.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he was born in Spain, and I don't know the name of the town. My boys have taken, 2 of my boys anyway, have taken a really interest in tracing back history on both sides of the family. it evidently, I know it was I don't know what they called it over there, but it was like a citrus ranch.
Oh, okay.
And he left, and I suspect it was when they had their uprising there, that his family sent him, because he was the only boy, sent him to an uncle in Argentina when he was 15. So he had some interesting things, and honestly, I wish we'd learned more, but we didn't. You know, looking back, we had opportunities, and it was just, we just didn't know.
Right.
And anyway, and my mother-in-law was Italian, both from a very large Italian family. She was the first one born in this country, and her older siblings were mostly born in Italy. And two of my kids have visited the area, so they know where she was born.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
Tell me about your parents. What was your mom's name?
My mom's name was Esther Moore Strickland.
And what was she like?
My mom was, and I wish I still had the papers, but I loaned them to my brother and I've never gotten them back. My mom did public speaking, and there were a lot of things in the paper about her public speaking, and she also taught it. In fact, it was a source of embarrassment to me, because I used words that weren't being used by my friends, and I got teased about it. But I never thought anything of it, because they were words that my mom used. Proper English,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I always admired that of her. My dad never graduated from 8th grade. His father moved a lot from various jobs that they had, and when he was in 8th grade, and the last time he moved, he said, "I'm not going back," and he didn't. But he read voraciously, as I do, unfortunately.
That's not unfortunate. My favorite kind of nerd is a book nerd. I'm one too.
Are you?
Oh yeah.
I've been reading since I was probably 4.
My mom jokes that I'm the only child you ever had to ground from reading, because I didn't care if they grounded me to my room. I would just go read a
Oh,
book.
read a book, yeah.
So they'd have to
Yeah.
take it away.
Yeah, well, I never had that happen, but my poor mom, she used to drive me to the Pasadena Public Library, and I could take out 6 books. Most of them were animal stories, particularly horse stories. Once in a while, it was something different, but most of the time, that's what they were. Dog stories, horse stories, you know. And sometimes I would have those books, and I would read them all, and I guess I learned speed reading. I think it was something that just happened naturally.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't recognize it as that. You know, I'd skip over A's and N's and Th's. I bet you do too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just get the gist of it. But I'd read all 6 of them, and my mom would drive me back, maybe at the end of the week, you know, or whatever. And we did that for quite a while. And I can remember. Do you remember when the Dr. Seuss stories started?
They started before my time, but he is one of my favorites.
Well, I would go over to the section where the books that I liked were, and my mother would sit down with Bruce, and they'd look through the other books, and I heard them both kind of giggling and trying not to, and I thought, well, that sounds interesting, so I went over, and they were reading Horton Hatches the Egg.
Yes.
And the three of us sat there and laughed, and I thought they were going to throw us out of the library because it was impossible not to laugh at seeing these pictures of this huge elephant sitting on the nest.
That's a good one.
Oh yeah, I love that silly story, and I can remember that was one of the fun things that we did.
So was your mom a reader too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she was. She liked, but more than reading, she liked what she was doing as far as
Speaking.
Yeah, we had something that was called the shell. It was a kind of like the one they had in Hollywood, but it was smaller. And it was where people would come and they would listen to readings as my mom would give them. And the shell was like a big shell came up over, and she would do that. She was at the Pasadena Playhouse for a while, but she didn't really like it as well. She didn't like acting, so she didn't carry on with that.